Ladies, let me tell you something. You think you know what men see when they look at you, but trust me, you have no idea. You spend hours picking the right outfit, fixing your hair, making sure every little thing is perfect. And while we do appreciate that, the truth is men notice things you don't even realize. It's not always about how you look, it's about how you make us feel. A confident woman can walk into a room and turn every head, not because of what she's wearing, but because of the energy she carries. See, men are drawn to confidence like a magnet. If you own who you are, if you carry yourself like you know your worth, that's something we can't ignore. You don't have to be the most glamorous woman in the room, but if you're sure of yourself, that's unforgettable. Confidence isn't about arrogance or acting like you're better than everybody else. It's about knowing who you are, what you bring to the table, and not shrinking yourself to make other people comfortable. When a woman walks with confidence, she doesn't need validation from anybody. She doesn't need constant reassurance because she already knows her value. That's the kind of energy men notice the moment you step into a room. When a woman carries herself with confidence, it changes everything. It's in the way she speaks, the way she walks, the way she interacts with people. A confident woman doesn't second guess herself all the time. She doesn't let insecurity dictate her actions. She knows what she deserves, and she's not afraid to walk away from anything that doesn't align with her standards. Men notice this more than you think. A woman who is unsure of herself, who constantly doubts her worth, will attract men who take advantage of that. But when you walk with confidence, you attract men who respect you, who see you as an equal, who admire your strength. It's not about being perfect. It's about owning who you are, flaws and all, and standing in that truth. Confidence is also about how you handle yourself in difficult situations. Life isn't always easy, and a confident woman doesn't crumble under pressure. She knows how to handle challenges with grace. She doesn't fall apart over every little thing. That kind of resilience, that ability to stand tall, even when life gets tough, is something men admire deeply. And let me tell you something, confidence isn't about looking like a supermodel. It's not about having the perfect body, the best clothes, or the most flawless skin. Confidence comes from within. A woman who carries herself like she knows she's beautiful, no matter what, will always stand out. It's in the way she smiles, the way she holds her head up high, the way she speaks with certainty. A lot of women think men only care about looks, but that's not true. Yes, physical attraction matters, but it's confidence that makes a woman truly irresistible. And you've probably seen it yourself. There are women who may not fit society's definition of beauty, but they have this energy about them that just pulls people in. That's confidence. A confident woman doesn't need to chase a man. She doesn't need to beg for attention. She knows that if a man truly wants her, he'll show it. She doesn't waste time worrying about who's texting her back or who's playing games. She knows what she brings to the table, and she's not going to settle for anything less than she deserves. Men notice when a woman loves herself. They see it in the way she treats herself, in the way she prioritizes her happiness, in the way she doesn't settle for less. When a woman is confident, she naturally demands respect. She doesn't even have to say it. Her presence says it for her. And let me be clear, confidence doesn't mean being loud or aggressive. It doesn't mean acting like you don't need anybody. It means being comfortable in your own skin. It means knowing that you are enough just as you are. Think about the most powerful women you know. They aren't powerful because they scream for attention. They are powerful because they know their worth. They walk into a room and command respect without saying a word. That's the kind of confidence that men notice. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but Steve, I don't feel confident. I have insecurities, I have doubts, and that's okay. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. Every time you choose to believe in yourself, every time you refuse to let fear control you, every time you stand up for yourself, you're building confidence on top. Confidence is also about how you carry yourself physically. Your posture, your eye contact, the way you speak, all of that matters. A woman who slouches, avoids eye contact, and speaks in a timid voice gives off the impression that she doesn't believe in herself. But when you stand tall, make eye contact, and speak with certainty, people take notice. Confidence is also about how you handle rejection. A woman who is confident doesn't fall apart just because a man isn't interested. She doesn't beg for attention. She doesn't let one rejection define her. She knows that one person's opinion doesn't determine her worth. She keeps it moving because she knows that the right person will see her value. And let's talk about independence for a second. A confident woman doesn't rely on a man for happiness. She has her own dreams, her own goals, her own passions. She knows that a relationship is a beautiful thing, but it's not the only thing. She has a full life outside of any man. Men notice a woman who has her own thing going on. A woman who is chasing her dreams, who is passionate about something, who is working on herself. That's attractive. That's the kind of woman men respect. A confident woman doesn't compare herself to others. She doesn't waste time wishing she looked like someone else or had someone else's life. She embraces who she is. She knows that she is unique, that she has something special to offer, and she owns it. And here's something important. Confidence is not just about how you feel about yourself, but also how you treat others. A truly confident woman lifts others. She doesn't tear other women down to make herself feel better. She doesn't need to compete because she knows that her value isn't diminished by someone else's success. Men notice a woman who is kind, who is secure enough to celebrate others, who doesn't feel threatened by other people's achievements. That kind of confidence is rare and it's powerful. So, ladies, if you want to know what men really notice, it's not just about how you look. It's about how you carry yourself, how you respect yourself, and how you bring peace into a man's life. A confident woman is unforgettable. She's the kind of woman a man doesn't just see. He feels her presence. He remembers her. He respects her. And most importantly, he values her. When a woman respects herself, it sets the tone for how everyone else will treat her, including men. See, respect isn't just about what you demand from others. It's about what you allow, what you tolerate, and what you accept for yourself. Men notice this right away. They see it in the way you carry yourself, in the way you react to situations, and in the way you set boundaries. Self-respect starts with knowing your worth. A woman who respects herself doesn't let a man walk all over her. She doesn't tolerate disrespect, dishonesty, or half-hearted efforts. She knows that she deserves to be treated with love, kindness, and appreciation, and she refuses to settle for anything less. Men notice that. They notice when a woman has standards and when she sticks to them. Some women think that if they're too firm with their standards, they'll push men away. But let me tell you something. If your standards push a man away, then that man was never right for you to begin with. The right man will rise to meet your expectations. A man who truly values you won't see your standards as a problem. He'll see them as a challenge to be the best version of himself. Men respect a woman who respects herself because it shows that she values her own time, energy, and emotions. A woman with self-respect doesn't beg for attention. She doesn't chase after a man who isn't making an effort. She doesn't waste her time waiting around for someone to realize her worth because she already knows it. She has better things to do than wait for a man to get his act together. And let's talk about boundaries because this is a big part of self-respect. A woman with strong boundaries is someone who knows what she will and won't tolerate. She doesn't allow people to use her, manipulate her, or take advantage of her kindness. Men notice when a woman is firm in her boundaries and they see when she's willing to walk away from toxic situations, and that makes them respect her even more. A woman who respects herself also respects her body. She doesn't let just anyone have access to her. She values intimacy as something meaningful, not just something casual. Men notice when a woman carries herself with dignity, when she doesn't let people take advantage of her emotions or her physical presence. A woman who respects herself makes men work for her time and attention. She doesn't give it away freely, and that makes her even more valuable. Now, let's be clear. Self-respect isn't about being rude, arrogant, or difficult. It's about knowing your value and refusing to accept anything less than you deserve. A woman who respects herself doesn't have to prove anything to anyone. She just lives her life with dignity, and that speaks louder than words. Men also notice how a woman talks about herself. If you're constantly putting yourself down, if you're always talking negatively about your appearance or your abilities, men pick up on that. A woman with self-respect speaks about herself with confidence. She doesn't downplay her achievements. She doesn't criticize herself in front of others. She owns her strengths and embraces her flaws. A woman who respects herself also surrounds herself with people who uplift her. She doesn't entertain toxic friendships. She doesn't stay in unhealthy relationships, and she doesn't allow people to drain her energy. Men notice when a woman has high standards, not just for relationships, but for all areas of her life. It shows that she values herself enough to protect her peace. Another thing men notice is how a woman reacts to challenges. A woman with self-respect doesn't let setbacks break her. She handles difficulties with grace, strength, and resilience. She doesn't let rejection or failure define her worth. She knows that one bad moment doesn't determine her value, and she keeps moving forward with confidence. And let me tell you, men test women. Sometimes they push boundaries just to see how much they can get away with. A woman with self-respect doesn't fall for that. She stands her ground. She doesn't let a man play mind games with her. She doesn't allow herself to be an option when she should be a priority. Self-respect also means knowing when to walk away. A woman who respects herself doesn't cling to a man who isn't treating her right. Of course, she doesn't stay in situations that make her feel small, unimportant, or unappreciated. She has the strength to leave when she knows she deserves better. And here's something important. Men don't just notice self-respect, they are drawn to it. It's attractive because it shows a woman is strong, independent, and secure in herself. A woman who respects herself doesn't need a man to complete her. She chooses a man who compliments her. She's not looking for validation from anyone because she already knows her own worth. Her own worth. So, ladies, remember this. The way you treat yourself teaches a man how to treat you. If you allow disrespect, you'll receive it. If you demand respect, you'll attract men who are willing to give. Men notice when a woman walks with dignity, when she values herself, and when she refuses to settle for less. That kind of woman is unforgettable. A man notices when a woman brings peace into his life. Life is already tough. Work, responsibilities, expectations, stress, it all adds up. So when a man finds a woman who brings calm instead of chaos, he notices. And let me tell you something, ladies. Peace is rare. It's something every man craves, whether he realizes it or not. See, men live in a world where they are constantly expected to perform. They have to be strong. They have to provide. They have to compete. They have to figure things out. It's pressure nonstop. And when a man comes home, the last thing he wants is more stress. He wants peace, not perfection, not silence, not someone who agrees with everything he says, just peace. A space where he can be himself without feeling judged, criticized, or constantly under pressure. Now, this doesn't mean you should tolerate bad behavior or accept less than you deserve just to keep the peace. Absolutely not. But there's a difference between addressing issues in a healthy way and constantly bringing negativity into a relationship. A woman who brings peace knows how to communicate without nagging, without yelling, without making a man feel like he's under attack. She knows how to address problems with understanding instead of confrontation. Men notice the energy a woman carries. When a woman walks into a room, she brings a certain vibe with her. If she's always tense, always angry, always complaining, that energy follows her. And trust me, men feel it. But when a woman has a peaceful spirit, when she knows how to stay calm, how to handle situations with grace, how to bring warmth into a space, men notice that too. A peaceful woman knows how to listen. She doesn't just hear words, she understands. She listens without waiting to argue, without interrupting, without making it about herself. A man appreciates a woman who truly hears him because, believe it or not, men don't always feel like they have a space to express themselves. Society tells men to be strong, to hold things in, to figure it out on their own. But when a man finds a woman who makes him feel safe enough to open up, that's powerful. Now, let's talk about attitude. A peaceful woman has a positive outlook on life. She doesn't dwell on negativity, doesn't hold grudges, doesn't let little things ruin her mood. She knows how to move forward, how to find solutions instead of dwelling on problems. Men notice that. No one wants to be around someone who is always angry, always complaining, always negative. A woman who knows how to find joy in life, who can laugh even when things aren't perfect, who can lift the mood instead of bringing it down. That's the kind of woman a man doesn't want to lose. And here's something a lot of women don't realize. Peace isn't just about what you say. It's about how you say it. You can have the best intentions, but if your words come out harsh, critical, or dismissive, a man will shut down. A peaceful woman knows how to express herself in a way that brings understanding instead of conflict. She knows that tone matters, that timing matters, that delivery matters. Peace also comes from security. A peaceful woman is secure in herself. She's not constantly doubting, constantly questioning, constantly looking for problems that aren't there. She trusts her man and she trusts herself. Insecurity can be exhausting, not just for the woman who feels it, but for the man who has to constantly reassure her. A woman who is confident in herself, who doesn't let jealousy or doubt take over, brings peace into a relationship. Now let's talk about emotional stability. A peaceful woman knows how to manage her emotions. That doesn't mean she doesn't feel things deeply. It just means she knows how to handle those feelings without letting them control her. She doesn't lash out, doesn't hold on to resentment, doesn't create unnecessary drama. She knows when to take a step back, when to breathe, when to respond instead of react. And listen, ladies, this is important. Men notice how you handle conflict. Every couple will have disagreements. That's normal. But how you handle those disagreements says everything. A peaceful woman doesn't turn every argument into a war. She doesn't use insults. She doesn't bring up past mistakes every time something goes wrong. She doesn't shut down and give the silent treatment. She knows how to work through problems like an adult with patience and respect. Men also notice how a woman handles life's challenges. When things go wrong, when stress is high, when pressure is on, does she fall apart? Or does she handle it with strength and grace? A woman who knows how to stay calm under pressure, who can find solutions instead of creating more problems, brings peace, and men value that. A peaceful woman also knows how to take care of herself. You can't pour into a relationship if you're running on empty. Self-care isn't selfish, it's necessary. A woman who prioritizes her well-being, who takes care of her mental and emotional health, who finds joy in things outside of a relationship, brings a peaceful energy into her interactions. She's not looking for a man to complete her because she's already whole on her own. And let's be real, peace isn't just about relationships. A peaceful woman brings a calming presence wherever she goes. People feel comfortable around her. She knows how to make others feel valued, how to create a positive atmosphere, how to bring warmth into any situation. Men notice all of this. They may not always be able to put it into words, but they feel it. A woman who brings peace is a woman a man wants to come home to, a woman he wants to build with, a woman he doesn't want to lose. Looks may catch a man's eye, but peace, that captures his heart.